Black Ops 7 launches later this week, and we've been so busy with everything else going on in the gaming space that we haven't really had the chance to talk about much of anything up until this point, but that changes with this one, as we're going to be running down everything that you need to know before launch for Black Ops 7 for those interested. If not, totally cool. We've got more of our rotation of games content upcoming, so don't sweat it, but to fill those interested in on everything coming, we're going to take some time to put it all into one location so that you're in the know ahead of the launch here. Drop your thoughts as we go along, drop a like if you enjoy the video, and do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 7, Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, and RedSec, along with other FPS content I'd love to have in the community. Finally, check out my friends over at Advanced GG to fuel up for launch here, where code Espresso can get you 10% off your entire order, but for now, let's get into it. Let's start with what you can do right now. Preloads are actually available at the moment across all platforms, this allowing you to start your download and installation of the game now and get it out of the way, especially if you don't have the best internet connection or bandwidth, letting you get the bulk out of the way now and just jump in at any point during launch that you'd like to without having to wait on any sort of downloads. And speaking of that, when is launch? Well, the global launch times will end up varying depending on consoles versus PC. Consoles, it's going to be midnight locally, so it's a progressive rollout starting at midnight in New Zealand and working its way west, so 3 a.m. Pacific, 6 a.m. Eastern on the 13th, someone, somewhere in the world will have access to Black Ops 7 while you could be waiting. Now, there's a way around this, which we'll touch on in a second, but in an exemplary manner, the rollout is progressive and won't hit everyone all at the same time. On PC, for Steam and BNet, it's all one static time for a launch, which for East Coast of the US, totally in line with the console version and rollout there, but for literally every other time zone in the world, it's either slightly earlier than the 14th or sometimes well into the day of the 14th. The game launches on PC at 9 p.m. Pacific on the 13th, midnight Eastern on the 14th, 5 a.m. GMT, 9 a.m. GST, 2 p.m. in Korea and Japan, outwards of 4 p.m. on the 14th in Sydney, Australia, and I believe that's 6 p.m. on the 14th in New Zealand. So the first to get it on consoles are the latest in the world to get it on PC. Kind of crazy difference there. But okay, we mentioned you could bypass that sort of region lock, right? So if that means early access, how can you get it? Well, pending no changes to the infrastructure, you might be hearing all these people talking about going to New Zealand. They're not actually flying there to play COD, they're just geo-spoofing by changing regions on their hardware to allow them in. Now, if memory serves me correctly and this still holds up, to do this it depends on which platform you're on. For PC, you'll only have this via access the Xbox PC app, but then if you have the game via the Xbox PC app, you can change your PC region to New Zealand and change your COD account to a New Zealand address on the COD website. For Xbox, you just have to do the same thing where you have to change the region of your Xbox in the settings to New Zealand and change your COD account to a New Zealand address on the COD website. And PlayStation, you just have to change your COD account to a New Zealand address on the COD website. Previously, PlayStation, I think, needed you to have a New Zealand account registered there, which from creation had to say New Zealand, but I don't think that's the case anymore with that. But again, if memory serves me correctly, if you do those, you'll have the ability to play on the platforms no matter where you're at, right at midnight New Zealand time, which again, 3 a.m. Pacific, 6 a.m. Eastern, and elsewhere in the world like 11 a.m. in the UK and beyond. So if you're really interested in getting the jump on that, you can. But the game is available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, as well as PC, with last gen being included for likely the last time here in the franchise before next year's move to a more than likely current gen only, and then perhaps next gen in the near future as well with that. But for PC, you also have that minimum recommended and competitive plus 4K ultra settings that you have the availability for. On screen, you'll see the graphic denoting those sort of recommendations for the hardware you need there. That being entirely subjective. Not everybody will have the same rig as somebody else. Like, somebody could have an entirely different PC spec than somebody else, whereas a PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, that's going to be uniform across whoever has that version of the hardware. Now, beyond that, day one, when it comes to it, there likely is a day one update coming. Though nothing has been specified just yet to mention the day one patch at the moment, most games, especially Call of Duty, usually do have an update of some kind for day one that's in addition to the preload, so be aware of that. Though again, it's not going to be nearly as large as the full install if that does come along. Now, on day one, you'll end up having access immediately to your earned rewards. Things like your Vault Edition items of your blueprints, Gobblegum packs, Operator packs, Permanent Unlock token, the Guild Override camo, and a token for Black Cell Season 1, which will be applicable in the future, but you do have that coming along with the same offering of the Vault Edition. You'll have your beta participation rewards, you'll have any Twitch drops from beta, you'll have any retailer bonuses, and more importantly, I think you'll have all of your XP tokens. Carry forward this year is very limited based off of prior pivots made from the content that will be coming from Black Ops 6 to Black Ops 7, but XP tokens as an account-specific thing will be carrying forward as well. So all those XP tokens you could have had throughout the Black Ops 6 year, that's going to be there on day one for Black Ops 7. So could be a very beneficial portion to how you end up ranking up quicker, whether that be your weapons, your overall rank with your soldier and your prestiges, and then come season 1 battle pass tokens as well. Now, as for the full game itself, again, we haven't really talked a whole lot about Black Ops 7 as of recently, so kind of as a refresher here, we're going to have the campaign first and foremost. Campaign this year is a little bit different than years prior. It is a co-op campaign with no set difficulty that you can choose, but it does have those linear standard missions built for co-op. However, the big thing with campaign this year, beyond just that linear story, is the end game, where this is, think DMZ plus Modern Warfare Zombies plus campaign. It is an after campaign completion reward where you have access to an area of Avalon that is a 32-player PvE open sort of sandbox mode that lets you end up taking on more challenges at your own pace and discovering even more of the story after the conclusion in the linear fashion. This allows you to continue that campaign in a replayable way where you can bring players and friends in who may not have completed the campaign, but so long as the party leader does have that completed, they can bring anyone in. There's new intel and story elements to discover, which from a narrative perspective, months ago when this was discussed with developers at Treyarch, they had told me that it's not so much like an end credit style sequence that you can discover to tease what's coming more, but more of like starting another chapter in Endgame. Kind of like an epilogue to the campaign that you'll see for Black Ops 7, but without needing to complete those elements, like you can play Endgame without needing to find those story beats. So I'm curious to see how this, narratively speaking, will be a worthwhile extension of the campaign, while also not like undervaluing or devaluing the core storyline in the narrative, but also not being too narrative heavy that it's like a sort of awkward bridge between Black Ops 7 and what may come later. Like, how do they balance that out? But either way, looking forward to seeing what can come of that. Avalon is comprised of POIs from Black Ops history, where it will have an expansive skill track to work through, which is directly correlated with the ease of time you'll have in the endgame zones, zones 1 to 4, 4 being the deadliest. And you also have, for the first time, weapon camos and full progression available here with this, where weapon levels are available across all 4 modes, ranking up your items in either multiplayer, zombies, warzone, and now campaign, plus also having dedicated co-op camos and mastery camos that you can work towards throughout this. So no matter how you want to play the game, you'll always be progressing through campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and warzone when that comes. Now, as for your multiplayer stuff, you have all weapons on offer here at this. You have the assault rifles of the M15 Mod 0, the AK-27, the MXR-17, X9 Maverick, DS-20 Mirage, and the Peacekeeper Mark 1. Your SMGs, you have the Raiden 45K, RK9, Razor 9mm, Dravik 45, Carbon 57, and the MPC-25. My beloved MSMC from Black Ops 2 finally making a return. Shotguns, you have the M10 Breacher, the Echo 12, and the Akita. LMGs, you have the MK78 and the XM325. Your marksman rifles, you have the M8A1, the Warden 308, and the M34 Nova line. Snipers, you have the VS Recon and the Shadow SK, along with the XR3 Ion. Pistols, you have the Jaeger 45, Velox 5.7, and the Coda 9. Launchers, you have the Arrow 109 and the Arc M1. And melees, you finally have of the Knife and the Flatline Mark II. Now, weapon prestiges are making a return within Black Ops 7, so again, throughout campaign, multiplayer, zombies, or warzone, wherever that comes, however you rank up a weapon, once you end up getting that to its max level, so you've unlocked all of its attachments, you have the option to end up prestiging not once, but twice, and then going into a master prestige track that will then allow you to rank up your weapon to level 250 as opposed to just like the 43, 45, whatever it may be at base. Now, each of those prestiges, you end up getting a unique prestige attachment at prestige 1, along with camos associated with each of those and weapon charms alike. And finally, once you reach that master prestige level 250, you get a unique weapon camo that is a throwback classic of sorts, plus also probably some new ones that are thrown in the mix there as well that are applicable to any weapon no matter what rank you have on at that point. So very cool that it adds another layer of depth to the progression system here with this. Weapon build codes will be something coming in Black Ops 7 that will allow you to share a build with your friends just by simply giving them a code to input, where some restrictions do apply. Like if the attachment is not unlocked, you can't just kind of cheese your way into a higher tier build with that, but it is something that allows you to one-to-one copy a build that is available. Now, this is something that will not transfer things like cosmetics, any blueprints or camos associated with it. You can apply those after the fact, but it will just apply the base attachments and builds here. Just a mathematical combination of what you have available for each of these builds, assigning a code to it. So if I have a build that could be somebody all the way across the world having the same build, without knowing about it, we'd still have the same build code as each other. But you can share those and easily access weapon builds at any time through Black Ops 7. The firing range will be returning within Black Ops 7, though still nothing very crazy, but a reskin of what we've seen. We've also seen a bit more of the statistics on screen as well, but again, nothing going overboard as like super innovating on this that we've seen in the past. Overclocks are something coming to Black Ops 7 where it's customization extensions for streaks, field upgrades, and the likes, offering different avenues of how things can work, whether it be like quicker earn rates or recharge rates for things versus offering up a bit more firepower. Some of those will have those two different options for how you want to customize specific things, and it will affect your gameplay accordingly. Now, perks, you end up having a lot of perks available within Black Ops 7, but they actually folded in a couple of different perks into existing perks, so not as many as when we saw them revealed initially speaking. For your perks, you have the Enforcer, Recon, and Strategist perks once again, all throughout perk 1, 2, and 3, but categorically speaking, your Enforcer perks are Scavenger, Tac Sprinter, Gung-Ho, Bankroll, Assassin, Close Shave, Lightweight, and Looper. Your Recon perks are Blast Link, Cold-Blooded, Ghost, Tracker, Engineer, and Ninja, and your Strategist perks are Tech Mask, Fast Hands, Flak Jacket, Charge Link, and Guardian. Now again, a couple of these had some combination perks kind of put together, 2 into 1. The benefits of Bruiser have been added to Close Shave. Hunter's Instinct has been added to Tracker. Vendetta has been added to Assassin, Quartermaster has been added to Gearhead, and Shadow has been added to Engineer. So offering a bit more in terms of favorability for some of those perks perhaps, but those are the perks you end up seeing. You of course have your combat specialties again, this time though introducing a hybrid specialty where you can take 2 of the 3 main perks, Perk Greed not included, that will give you a combat specialty, but all 3 again will give you those core ones as well if you go full out and get all 3 of 3 perks being the same. As for your maps, you end up having Blackheart, Colossus, Cortex, Den, Exposure, Express, Flagship, Hijacked, Homestead, Imprint, Paranoia, Raid, Retrieval, Scar, The Forge, and Toshin. Those are your 6v6 core maps. You will end up having a mode called Skirmish, which is a 20v20 mode here at this that comes along with larger portions of the Avalon map that are available for play that are mission edge and mission tied. Then, not even a week after the launch of the game here, Nuketown will be coming as a preseason adjustment here on the 20th, but then we'll talk about Season 1 in a second, but there's still a lot more on deck there. Your modes, you have TDM, Domination, Search, Kill Confirmed, Free-For-All, Hardpoint, Kill Order, Control, Overload, Face-Off, Mosh Pit, and everything that comes along with the Face-Off modes again, Skirmish, and Gunfight, both with core and hardcore modes available for each of those. So a lot on offer here, of course, across everything in the core content experience for multiplayer, that coming along then with the underlying things of like your progression through your soldier, your prestiges, all that kind of stuff, your weapons, your camo unlocks, everything you can do in there. Zombies, you're going to have 2 main modes at the beginning here. The larger experience of Ashes of the Damned, the larger sort of checkpointed location you have to end up going through. Comparable only, I could say, to Transit from Black Ops 2. They did that. We showcased that here on the channel a little bit with the COD Next reveal. Vandorn Farm is a segment of that Ashes of the Damned map, but is something that can be played in a survival wave-based mode that is just truly like try and survive as long as you can here. It is a very small portion of that, so it is going to be a bit claustrophobic. It might be a challenge to get to those higher rounds, but you will end up seeing that playable as a separate portion of itself. Cursed will be coming that will introduce a few different ways to end up playing, and Dead Ops Arcade will be making a return once again in Black Ops 7. And that is your launch offering here and what you have. Of course, there will be more coming with Season 1 that right now, there's no specific date given just yet for when Season 1 may be coming. But once that comes, you will end up seeing new multiplayer, zombies, and the Warzone integration content coming alongside that. Now, surprisingly, they actually detailed already a decent bit of what to expect for Season 1 with Black Ops 7 and the core experience with that. So like your multiplayer and zombies content has already been established here as to what's coming. They listed what's coming to Season 1 is maps of Fate, Utopia, Odysseus, Standoff, Meltdown, and Yakai, listed as and more, which could mean more maps, but also could mean different events, weapons, whatever the case, that those might just be the sort of face of Season 1. But 6v6 maps seemingly coming in Season 1. Zombies will end up having another larger scale map here of Astra Malorum, that being a wave-based map that's larger than Vandorn Farm, but not necessarily to the scale of Ashes of the Damned. So just like your traditional Zombies map that you expect to see across Zombies experiences. But they also mentioned that Exit 115, which is the diner from Transit, and the Zarya Cosmodrome, that being the launch portion of the Ashes of the Damned map, those are both coming as survival maps as well, joining Vandorn Farms as that sort of smaller location you can play in. And then Warzone, you will end up having that new Resurgence map coming at the integration, all the weapons coming into Warzone as well from Black Ops 7 and everything that goes along with that. But for right now, that is Black Ops 7 in a nutshell, what you can expect for the launch and a little bit beyond. But want to fill you guys in and keep you in the loop with everything, since we are approaching that launch pretty fast here. Like, it kind of feels weird that we are a couple of days away from launch and that it's coming up this fast, but alas, here we are. That is everything you need to know about Black Ops 7's launch. So drop your thoughts down below. What are you guys looking forward to, or maybe not, about Black Ops 7? Again, very happy for those that are looking forward to this. If you're not, it's totally cool, dude, but at that point, I'm not sure what you're still doing here at this point on this video. Some 15-16 minutes in, but let me know your thoughts. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed the video, and do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button to stay updated with all things FPS content, whether that be Black Ops 7, Battlefield 6, and RedSec, Arc Raiders, or even more. We got you covered here. Been loving this multi-game stuff we're doing. Hope you guys are as well, and I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care, and peace.